I'm Violet Lim, CEO and co-founder of Lunch Actually Group. So what we do is we help singles find love, and our BHAG, our Big Hairy Audacious goal, is to create 1 million happy marriages. So I started this business together with my then boyfriend, now husband Jamie, about 12 years ago. We started off as a lunch dating business. I got intrigued with this whole concept of lunch dating because I thought that lunch dating is a great way to meet people, because I realized that even though my colleagues, they work really long hours, like up to midnight, but usually they do not miss their lunch time, where it's sort of like a midday break. So I thought, rather than keep meeting people whom you already know, like your friends, your colleagues, or your lunch kakis, why not just take like 1 day in a month to meet someone you've never met before? And I thought that was a great way to just widen their social circle. And that's how Lunch Actually was first created in 2004. Of course, there were challenges, so some of the adjustments I have to make, which were quite funny now that I reflect on it. So previously, I make a lot of calls to like vendors to arrange events and things like that, and it would be like, oh hi, I'm Violet from Citibank, and everybody will be like, oh, like what can I do for you? Like red carpets will roll and things like that, because people know that big corporations will have big budgets and things like that, right? And after I started my own business, I'll be like, hi, this is Violet, I'm calling from Lunch Actually, and then people are like, huh, what? Lunch what? What are you, a restaurant? What cuisines do you serve? So it was so stark, the difference. So I that was definitely something that I have to get used to. I would say that one thing that has really helped me or worked for me is to just really develop thick skin and just ask. Yeah, I think a lot of times, like we are in an Asian society, and I think face is a big thing, and then like we are generally quite thin skinned, and we are worried like what people think about us, or we are worried about people rejecting us. So the first radio show I actually got on, I actually asked to be invited on that show. And I mean, you must remember, like then I was like about 24, 25, like very green, like nobody has heard about Lunch Actually, nobody has heard about us. And I was like looking at, the show, and I was like, yeah, why not? So I think sometimes it's really about that, like to just say, just wing it and say, I'll just ask. And I think just by asking, I've actually managed to not make a lot of the mistakes that I could have made, because I realized that a lot of entrepreneurs out there, or a lot of people out there in general, they are very happy to share with you their past experiences, their past challenges, and the lessons that have learned. And that I felt has helped me to, propel me quicker than it would have taken if I've just been like very thin-skinned and just try and do it all on my own. I think as a woman entrepreneur, one of the challenges we face probably is balancing work and balancing family. Like, I know a lot of people don't like to use the word balancing, and I agree with that, because now how I overcome this challenge is really by integrating. One of the things that I always think to myself is like, can a woman have it all? It's possible. A woman can actually have it all, but there's always a but. The but is that, but not at the same time. Yeah. So it has been very interesting. I've seen like many very successful women. Like there's time and space for everything, I guess. Like there are times where if you need to focus on your family, like you take that 1 or 2 years to just focus on that, and then when it's time to like build your career or like your business, and then you sort of focus on that. So for kids, like the time when they are between 3 to 6 years old and 13 to 16 years old, she says that in her experience, those are the critical years, and it's very important to be there for them, to be able to guide them along, and that's what I have been doing. So I think right now I've been traveling a lot more compared to like maybe the last couple of years, because like now my kids are like 7 to 10, so I still spend a lot of time with them, but maybe more in terms of quality time. So how I integrate all of these things in my life is I actually put into my calendar like time where I spend with my family. So like my PA, my team, they see it in my calendar. They're like, okay, that's when she's not in, like don't touch those times. I think sometimes I do feel the guilt that a lot of women entrepreneurs do, like like could I have spent more time with them, like would they thrive even more, if like let's say I can be like a full-time mom or things like that. I mean, definitely all these thoughts have come through my mind. But I think I thought to myself as well, it's like the way that we can inspire our children is also to live the best life that we can live. So I grew up in a family where my parents actually have joint accounts. And I felt that worked out very well. And probably for me, because it was easy, because when we first started dating, we were both like broke. because we put in all our savings into our business. He doesn't have his own account, I don't have my own account, and everything is just the same account. And I find that it works well. I think with the divorce rates on the high, sometimes like some women might start to wonder like how should they protect themselves when it comes to finance when they're in a relationship. I think this is something that is quite difficult for me to answer. Why I say that is because I do not really protect myself financially in that sense. It's quite interesting that financial planning or like even relationship planning, these are things that are very practical and we need to know of, but it's never taught in school. Yeah, so I think that was something that I've taught to myself. And like even now, like with my associates, like actually a lot of my associates are ladies, and I realized that a lot of us are not very aware of like how to plan our finance, or even like what we should be doing, you know, how do we invest our money. And I think this literacy really needs to be improved. My suggestion would probably be like there needs to be that sort of awareness and encouragement, which personally I cannot say that I've been doing a lot of, because I got married at a very young age, and as a result, like I left it to my husband to look after our personal finance and our family finance. But I did make a point to educate myself more in personal finance. The thing that I'm most interested when it comes to investing is like property investment. But I think, you know, in Singapore, property investment is not that easy. Yeah, so I mean, I have invested in some properties in Malaysia. Yeah, but I think definitely I want to increase my knowledge in that. And the other one is investing in the stock market. So many years ago, when my husband first started, like we both were saying like, hey, let's learn more. But I guess it's about interest as well. So he went on to learn more, and then he went on to like, you know, investing, you know, our money. But I didn't really make much progress with that because I like just got busy with other things in life. So I think these are the two areas that I would like to learn more in. I think, you know, like I've been very blessed that we have had a lot of media coverage over the last couple of years, and I think some of this coverage has been more prominent than others. So sometime earlier in this year, I was actually invited by Coca-Cola to be in their advertisement, and that was, you know, subsequently like shown on billboards, you know, like YouTube, on TV. And I started reading some comments from netizens about their feedback on this video, and it was quite interesting because their focus is not so much on like what we do or like, you know, what I was saying, but it's more on my looks. So of course it was very hurtful. I mean, growing up, I actually grew up with low self-esteem. I actually put on a lot of weight, and then I have a lot of acne, and then and then I have single eyelid and things like that. And I think when we are growing up, right, a lot of my girlfriends started dating, like, you know, when we were like in secondary school. And then I was probably like one of the few that were not dating. And then guys would come to me, not because they want to get to know me better. Most of the time it's because they wanted to get to know my prettier girlfriends. So as a result, you know, I was growing up and I'm like, wow, you know, like this sucks, right? Like I'm like, okay, you know, it's not my fault that I look like this, you know, like it was quite funny. I remember thinking to myself, but I think at one point it just occurred to me that there's no point that I keep having these thoughts. If I keep focusing on the negative, which is like, oh, you know, like it's so unfair, you know, like life is so unfair, why I'm treated this way because I'm not pretty, then I think I would just become a very negative and bitter person. And I don't think I wanted that for myself. So I just started focusing on like how I can become better. So I did things that was within my control. I joined Toastmasters, I worked on my public speaking skills, I ran for office, you know, in societies, you know, I took up a lot of leadership positions, I joined community service events, you know, like meeting a lot of different people. And at the end of the day, like I didn't know then, but now I'm so grateful that this happened because of all the things I did to focus on the positives. All of these skill sets have helped me to become who I am today. So the The title of my blog post was actually thankful that I'm not born beautiful, because I believe that, you know, if I've been born beautiful by so-called world standards of beautiful, I would not have done all of these things, and I wouldn't be able to be who I am today. My advice to like young women out there, because I believe a lot of young women would be going through what I used to go through, like, and maybe actually they are really pretty, or actually they are not even fat, but I think, you know, it's just insecurities, right? I think, you know, like, don't worry so much about what others say, because it doesn't matter. Like, ultimately, the stories that we tell ourselves is what that's going to make a difference. So like I mentioned just now, if I keep telling myself that, oh, I'm ugly, you know, like nobody likes me, you know, I'm so jealous of my prettier girlfriends, if that's the story that I keep telling myself, I don't think I'll be who I am today. But I changed that narrative. You know, I can be who I want to be. It doesn't matter, like, people don't think I'm beautiful, like it just doesn't matter. And because I told myself that story, like, you know, I can then be who I am today.